Making the offer during a high ticket sale. How's it going, my friends? Hope you guys are doing amazing. So I was just coaching a client and he needed some help on how to actually make the offer during a sales call, especially if you're closing high ticket, but this will apply to you if you're selling low ticket as well, anything on a sales call, okay? Now, I have done hundreds, if not thousands, I'd say by now, sales calls, and I have a very, very high close rate, and I'd say I'm one of the best salesmen in the world, right? Now, especially if you're a coach, the skills of coaching are actually very similar to selling, right? Because I genuinely believe when you're coaching someone, you're helping them help themselves create a transformation, create a result in their life, whether it's money related, relationship related, health related, emotional health related, right? So when you are selling someone, a lot of times a lot of coaches especially start to feel really icky and nasty about that. And they don't want to be the typical the car salesman, and they don't want to, do gimmicks and tricks. And I agree. When I learned sales from, I tell you, some of the best people in the world. Some of it was bro marketer, but I love them. Right? Now, some of it can be seen as very negative, and so I don't like that part of it, but I do understand the psychology behind it. I think that's important for you to understand, right? Why is someone not going to work with you versus why is someone going to work with you? So it comes down to a few things, all right? And so what I'm teaching you here is what's worked for me, make my first $1 million and beyond, and help my clients make millions of dollars in combined revenue, okay? So pay attention. When you've actually asked the questions, you learn what they needed, you've gotten the information, it's like a doctor, right? Asking all the symptoms, and then basically you go to give the diagnosis. So in your case, it's the offer, right? So you'll give them the offer of what they get. It doesn't have to be fancy. In the beginning, everyone's nervous. They feel like they have to do the Cirque du Soleil performance and offer them a 5-star hotel and a Rolls Royce. You don't have to do that, right? People want what? They want the transformation. That's all people want. They want the results. That's what they're paying you for, okay? So they're not paying you because you have, 100 extra modules on this or 3 extra ebooks on this, right? That's great if you have that, but that's not what they're paying you for. They're paying you for the result or for the transformation. So you want to mention that in your offer, that you get XYZ or you get X for achieving this desired result, so that you can achieve this desired result. Now, when you've done that, there's a few things. One is you mention the fucking price and then you shut them up, right? It's something I was taught by one of my coaches, and he was a lot more colorful in his language when he taught us. But the reason why it's so important and it works every single time is because, there we go, so something came up in the video, is because every single time that someone is given a price, they need time to process it, right? So if I just told someone like, hey, this is what I'm offering for $19.97, right? I've kind of thrown that to them, right? It's like, here, ball's in your court. It's kind of whack the tennis ball, right, to their side. Now, it's like hot potato. They got the ball. Now they have to decide within those few seconds what they're going to do with it. So you need to give them a couple of seconds to process, okay? I'm telling you that, a lot of times in the sales world, it's taught as, the first one who talks loses, right? Once you've given the price, like let's say I said $19.97, but then I'm starting to feel guilty, and I feel like, they're not gonna, in my mind, I'm thinking they're not going to want it. So I need to justify why it's $19.97. I need to convince them more. So what I would do in that play, and I've been there, right? I've been in those places. So I'd say $19.97. And, also I forgot to mention that you also get XYZ, and, you also get this, and the thing you mentioned, we're going to help you with that. So I'll start over-justifying, over-explaining, right? It comes off desperate. And not only that, it's confused the buyer now. Because instead of him thinking about the $19.97, like, okay, cool, am I going to do this or not? Now he has to listen to all the other shit I'm going to say. And I've just distracted him from the most important part of the conversation, which is him making a decision to buy or not, to enroll or not, right? So you don't want to do that. Once you give the price, you just want to shut the F up. Let them be the first person to speak. There's so many times where I mention, right? If 1K, 5K, and they've been like, are you frozen? Right? Because I'll literally just pause, I'll let them, and sometimes if they ask if I'm frozen, I'll laugh and I'll say, no, I'm right here. And again, I won't say a word. I'll let them do the talking. So either they'll say, okay, cool, great. What's the next step? Let's do it. Or they'll have objections, right? There's only two options, right? So at that point, I can do other videos about how to handle objections and whatnot. But, that's really, really important, that part right there, because I just coached one of my clients on it and he loved it. And sometimes I've been doing this for so long that I forget all of the things that I can actually teach people and can help you make a fuck ton of money with just these simple tips, so I always want you to learn them. So that's really important. I'd say also one of the things is when someone does have an objection, what is that? What is an objection, right? Basically what they're saying is to you is that I want to buy this, but for some reason in my mind, I either don't trust you or myself enough, or I don't have clarity on what this is really going to help me with. I don't have clarity and I don't have the certainty, right? Those three things, basically, right? So it's your job then to figure out what it is. Is it that they don't trust you? Right? If that's the case, then you let them know more about yourself, or you show them some of your testimonials. You literally share the screen right then and there. If you're on a phone call, you let them know about your past clients who you've worked with, right? What you've done, right? If it's them, you coach them on trusting themselves, why that's an issue, right? And then if it's the clarity, you ask them like, hey, are you confused about what you get? Because and you want to ask this in a way where a lot of us we assume we know what the objection is or where it's coming from, and that's the worst thing you can do. So ask questions. Ask, right? If they sound confused about something, ask them like, oh, so are you confused about how the program works? Or did you understand like how many times a week we meet for the group coaching calls? Or like, are you confused about anything, right? You ask them that genuinely, and they'll say yes or no, and then you can help them with that, right? The third thing is the certainty part, right? Every single time someone has an objection, what they're looking from you is certainty, right? So I give my prospects, my leads, certainty, right? Now, obviously, I'm honest. If there's, in the rare case that there's someone I can't work with, I'll let them know, right? I know throughout the call where it's going, and they may want something very different from what I'm offering, and I let them know. But 99.9% of the time, I can help them, right? So I will give them certainty because they're like, well, I don't know if, I need help with this, and this. I don't know if this is going to work. And I'm like, no, 100% done. Right? I said that to the client that I was coaching just now. He loved it, right? Because I go into every call with that. There's going to be some nervousness every time you're on a call. Like, I think that's thrilling, right? It's what makes you feel alive, to be honest. There's going to be a little bit of resistance maybe. But again, this is the work you have to do when you're going onto any sales call. You have to convince yourself. That's what I always teach. Believe in your own offer. Remind yourself of why it's amazing for the right person, why they're going to be willing to pay for it because it's an amazing value, right? And then you have to then convey that certainty to them, and they have objections. If you genuinely know you can help them with XYZ, you're like, yeah, 100% done. We'll take care of that. Right? If you're like, oh yeah, maybe we can, or you start over explaining yourself, it comes off weak and it does not come off as certain. Okay. I will tell you, me just being certain and believing, knowing I can help my clients is what has helped them. Right. I also mentioned that every single person I'm talking to, I go into the call believing that I'm going to help them. I visualize their success. Right? Like manifest it for them, right? Before I go in, like as I'm talking to them, I'm like, I'm gonna make this person a ton of money. I'm gonna make this person help and impact a ton of people, right? This person is gonna be my best client, right? They're gonna love working with me. Their life's gonna be transformed. I start to think these thoughts as I'm talking to them, right? So I'm building on my own belief in them and what they can achieve. So of course I'm gonna have certainty. Of course I'm gonna be like, would you like a cookie? Just offering cookies, right? If you like one, great. If you're not, totally fine, right? That's the energy I have. Right? And that's the energy you need to come from, right? Of certainty, okay? So those are some of the key things that we highlighted just for that last bit of the sales call itself. Of course, I can talk so much more about it. So if you guys want me to mention or talk about any other concepts during a sales call or just selling in general, business coaching, a coaching business, I do business coaching, but your coaching business may be any niche, any topic out there. So go and comment below if you'd like to see me talk about certain topics, but I hope that was helpful. And if you'd like my personal help to help you sell high ticket coaching or low ticket coaching. I've done both, right? And really build a profitable online coaching business that gives you more freedom and impact, go ahead and reply comment info to this. I'll connect with you and send you more information, let you know how you can work with me. All right? Have a beautiful day, my friend. I'll talk to you in the next live video post. Lots of love.